whether you enjoy your corn frozen, kernels, in the soup, we want to take you back and show you how this got to your kitchen table. And we think it's a sort of an interesting story, and we hope you feel the same. So, let's go off and see where the corn part came from.
Here we are in a cornfield in southwestern Ontario. Just a typical harvest day for this farmer, who is a member of the Ontario Processing Vegetable Growers Association. We can see the combine harvesting the corn that is ready to go off to the processing plant. In 2001, there were just over 300 sweet corn growers producing just under 35,000 acres of corn for harvest. Sweet corn is planted in May, and as we can see here, in August it has grown to a height of close to 6 feet. Ontario Processing Vegetable Growers plants and grows their corn using a harvest schedule, meaning that the growers are given a time when to plant, so that the most corn is harvested at the peak of the season. Over 175,000 tons of sweet corn were harvested in 2000, with a gross farm value of just under $10 million. As quality is a major consideration in sweet corn production growth, it is necessary that the time between when the corn is actually removed from the field to the time that it is at the processing plant is at a minimum. This ensures that there is less chance for contamination and degradation of the final product. Here we can see hand sanitizers and temperature records. Even though we're in a processing plant, we can see here that cleanliness and control are still factors. The processors want to make sure that they reduce contamination at the plant as much as possible. The machine we see here is stripping the cobs of corn of their kernels. In goes the full cob, out comes the kernelless cob on this side, and the kernels are then passed down to the next step, where they float so unwanted material can be separated. This processing plant has identified blanching as a critical control point. Has incorporated it into their HACCP plans. What this means is that the plant has identified steps throughout the process that will be monitored to make sure that safety and quality are preserved. Off we go into the freezer to follow our corn as its temperature is being lowered very quickly. The kernels are also being bounced to ensure that a quick and even freeze is accomplished. There goes the corn off to the packaging plant, where it will then go to the grocery store and finally to your table.
Processed tomatoes, of course, are a huge part of the processing industry in Ontario. We have canned, these are Aylmer from Nabisco. My kids love these. These are Heinz little calzones filled with tomato paste inside. Kids love them. Pizzas, you go anywhere now, you can get any variety of ready-made pizza, whether you order out or buy frozen. I mean, anywhere. You go to any new Zares, they got the pizza right there. They have about 20.
Hey folks, we're at a tomato field here in Leamington, Ontario. These are processing tomatoes that go to make sauces, juices, pastes, you name it. Pizza sauce, everything. This is where it starts in this field. This is Richard's field. You'll see how the tomatoes are picked. The machine's coming behind. We'll give you a close-up of the machine. After this stuff is picked, the remaining shreds, this stuff, gets ground up. We plant ryegrass almost immediately afterwards as a cover crop to prevent soil erosion, and then he'll go on a rotation. Next year he'll grow sweet corn, maybe soybeans the year after that, and then back to tomatoes.
When the tomatoes arrive at the plant, water is used to float the tomatoes through the flumes to the processing area. At this step as well, unwanted tomatoes are disposed by the aid of an optical sorter, which will recognize the color of unripe tomatoes so that anything that is not of the best quality will not make it past the tomatoes are put into cans and spaced uniformly with air, so within the cans an aerobic environment is created. Then off to the pasteurizing unit as the kill step begins. Here the tomato cans are heated to a set temperature at a controlled time, and this step, like the blancher seen earlier, is tracked on an hourly basis to make sure the standards are met.
Go ahead. Hi folks, we're here in Ontario, middle of July. We're in a pea field, harvesting peas. We've just come back from a processing plant, came back to see the crop. Now, many of you know that in the processing plant, peas, frozen peas, huge consumer demand. They're still the #1 frozen food product. but there are problems. Food safety objectives is really a way to reduce risk. But with something like a frozen vegetable, you know, the listeria can be a problem. And with a zero tolerance, that's not consistent with a risk reduction message. Companies will sometimes say they don't test end product because they don't want to have the risk of having a positive result, especially the paperwork lying around. And that's what I've been hearing at some of these processing plants. So I think there's an effort that needs to be made. Number one, to show folks the farm, show them the peas, where it comes from, show the high level of quality control. I mean, we were just very impressed with the quality control at this plant, the testing that's being done on every half hour, hourly, the environmental controls, the hand washing facility, even though it's a processing plant, just overall good quality assurance, metal detection. I mean, these folks don't want anything except high quality, good Ontario peas showing up in that end product. And we need to be able to tell consumers about that, the efforts that are taken to ensure that, and at the same time to explain to them what risk reduction actually means.